Silk Stockings is Cole Porter's tribute to love during the Cold War and was one of MGM's last great musicals. Hello, I'm Sid Charisse. The 1955 Broadway musical Silk Stockings was based on the MGM film Ninotchka, starring the magnificent Greta Garbo. In the movie, Garbo plays a female Soviet commissar who encounters love with Melvyn Douglas in Paris in the late 1930s.
Go to bed, little father. We want to be alone.
But with Cole Porter's touch, the film was adapted into the smash hit Broadway musical. The studio had first refusal rights on the Broadway play. So when legendary MGM producer Arthur Freed expressed interest in making the film, the studio gave him an enthusiastic thumbs up. Silk Stockings would provide a happy on-screen reunion for Fred Astaire and myself, though Fred was a little concerned about playing a romantic lead at the age of 57. Oh, but he was wonderful in the movie and brought his trademark class and sophistication to the part. Cole Porter came to Hollywood to add a few new songs and oversee the production. He would sit right there on the set with his cane in his hand, occasionally writing a little something when it was needed. He wanted to be sure that it was done right and was very pleased with the results. Arthur Freed was famous for assembling the best talent for his films at MGM.
He got the most amazing people from New York or from London to come and work on his musicals, people that you wouldn't have thought of. He had wonderful taste, and I loved working for him.
But Arthur Freed's choice for director sent a shock wave through the front office. Arthur chose Rouben Mamoulian, who had delivered a disastrously over-budget Summer Holiday in 1948, and the brass at MGM was dead set against using him again. But Arthur knew that Mamoulian was born and raised in Russia and would bring his unique heritage to the project. Playing Ninotchka presented new challenges for me as an actress. I had to learn to speak with a Russian accent for the part.
Comrade Yoshenko reporting.
So the studio hired elocution coach Zoya Karabanova, who sat on the set to ensure that my accent was correct. I had also worked with my drama coach, George Shadanov, who helped me to portray both the toughness and the sensitivity that the part required. To this day, Ninotchka is still my favorite role.
Though a gal may have been born.
To play movie legend Peggy Dayton, Broadway star Janice Page was signed, and she turned in a terrific, vivacious performance.
Satin and silk.
I played the Coconut Grove, and Arthur Freed was in the audience. He asked me to come to the table and said, "I've got a film I want you to do like that," and I had it. Helen Rose put me in this fabulous black corset with a pink velvet ribbon.
Satin and silk.
I never wanted to take it off. It was so beautiful.
Satin and silk.
As the three bumbling Russian commissars, they hired Jules Munchin from On the Town, character actor Joseph Bulov, and in a brilliant bit of offbeat casting, Peter Lorre appeared in a rare musical comedy turn and nearly stole the picture. When principal photography began on November the 7th, 1956, Mamoulian was determined to show MGM that he meant to bring the picture in on time and on budget. We photographed the number Fated to be Mated, which Cole Porter had written for the film. Dancing with Fred Astaire was always a joy. Well, he would lift me as if I were made of air. Fred was truly the gentleman of all time. At the beginning of shooting, I went on the set to find a wonderful gift from Fred. It was a giant birdcage filled with tiny red finches, which represented the Russians. Well, it was a very thoughtful gift, but I had all these birds for years to come. Fred was widowed at the time, and he fell madly in love with a very pretty young dancer in the chorus named Barry Chase. He was so crazy about this girl that the following year he created a television special entitled An Evening with Fred Astaire, introducing Barry Chase. I fell in love with the music in the film, particularly the song Silk Stockings. Orchestrated by the incomparable Conrad Solinger, the number underscores my transition from a drab Russian commissar to an elegant lady. But there was trouble brewing behind the scenes regarding this number. The production code was very much in effect in 1956, and the Hayes office always had a censor on the set to ensure that nothing immoral was being filmed. When he saw that I was wearing only a slip in the scene, he threw a fit about it. There was a huge quarrel between the censor and the studio, but finally they placated him by hiding me behind a chair, which some felt was racier than before. Regardless, the number was marvelous and beautifully depicts the transformation of Ninotchka's heart.
Today to get the public to attend a picture show.
Stereophonic sound was Cole Porter's brilliant satire on various widescreen and sound processes designed to lure audiences away from their television sets and back to the movies. Porter added an additional verse for Fred Astaire to air his feelings about the recent craze for ballet in musical films.
He's got to have a glorious Russian ballet or modern ballet or English ballet or Chinese ballet or Hindu ballet or ballet or any ballet.
As you can see, Silk Stockings was filmed in CinemaScope, and Ruben Mamoulian absolutely hated the widescreen process. He said that CinemaScope was the worst shape ever devised. The widescreen process also created havoc with our choreographers, Hermes Pan and Eugene Loy. They were very annoyed with all that empty space on either side of the dancers in the long shots. So they often filled the empty spaces on the screen with props, sets, and even dancers. Red Blues was a great number, choreographed by Eugene Loy, who had also done the Broadway show. We were almost done with the filming in early January 1957. But being conscious of the schedule, Mamoulian had edited, dubbed, and mixed the entire picture before Fred Astaire shot his last musical number at MGM, The Ritz Roll and Rock.
The rock and roll is dead and gone.
Cole Porter wrote the song specifically for Fred, in which the gritty new rock and roll music would meet the old man in the top hat, white tie, and tails.
And all they do around the clock is the Ritz roll and rock.
By the time Silk Stockings was released, public taste in music had changed. New stars like Elvis Presley brought rock and roll to MGM and established brand new movie audiences. And though Fred was wonderful, it was clear that the age that he had come to emulate was over. When we completed production on January the 31st, 1957, Ruben Mamoulian was very pleased to report that the film came in on schedule and under budget at $1.85 million. It was only 2 weeks later that the film was given a preview at the Crown Theater in Pasadena. And after some minor editing, Silk Stockings opened at Radio City Music Hall on July the 18th, 1957. The famed New York Times film critic Bosley Crowther began his review thus: "There should be legislation requiring that Fred Astaire and Sid Charisse appear together in a musical picture at least once every 2 years." Needless to say, he enjoyed the film. The movie earned a significant profit and would become one of the studio's most successful musicals. And years later, the film has become a consistently popular title on television and home video. It was a joy to work on Silk Stockings, and it's an even greater joy to see that it has entertained audiences ever since. I'm Sid Charisse. Thanks for watching.